Hello, Year 3, and welcome to this very exciting English lesson because today we are going to learn how to write the end of our adventure stories. We've already seen a few of your adventure stories already, and we're really impressed with the amount of creativity that you've all shown. So keep up the good work. First of all, to warm up our brains, we are going to look at these sentences. All of these sentences have a grammatical error, and I would like you to grab a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper and just write down the correct version of the sentences. So we have yesterday we go to the zoo, Chloe and Daisy was at the park, we gave us a round of applause for writing an excellent adventure story. So if you could just correct those, pause me and have a go. So we have our corrections here. The first one is yesterday we went to the zoo. The second one is Chloe and Daisy were at the park instead of was at the park. And the third one, you could have had any of these pronouns. You could have had, they gave us a round of applause for writing an excellent adventure story, which I'm sure we will do. If you got any of those right, make sure you give yourself a big tick, a big smiley face, and a big round of applause. Well done. Just before we move on, let's go over our adventure story checklist. We are going to stay in the past tense. We're going to use noun phrases. We're going to use the third person, or we're going to use he, him, she, her, or they. We are also going to use show, not tell. So we're going to use phrases such as something extremely or something very. We want to see a lot of creative punctuation, such as exclamation marks and question marks, to keep the reader engaged. Hopefully, we're going to see quite a lot of danger to keep the reader reading on. And we're going to introduce a mission, a problem, or a quest that needs to be completed by the end of the story. And don't forget that we should be using sentence openers, such as the ones that Mrs. Wade has spoken to you about using I spaced. Just to remind you about I spaced, these are our openers, and I would like you to challenge yourself to see if you could use one that you haven't used before. Maybe you'd like to use opener with dialogue or a preposition. This is our adventure story S. We have our beginning where the setting and the characters were introduced by Mrs. Wade. And then we have our middle section, which was written by Mrs. Cobbold, where the golden egg was introduced. We have a quest that we need to complete. And I've written the ending, and I won't spoil it. So I'll get right into it. So here we have Mrs. Wade's beginning. Gliding gently on top of the pond's calm and chilly water, a pair of ducks were munching on soggy bread. Small Duck, the youngest of the two, longed for adventure and was desperate for an exciting mission. However, his days never fulfilled his desire for adventure, and he was feeling rather fed up. Just another boring day, squawked Small Duck, preening his soft white feathers. Yes, and that's the way I like it, quacked Big Duck, who spent most of his days lazily perched on top of his favourite rock. Secretly, Small Duck rolled his dark, beady eyes and dreamt of other places. Over the pond, a shadow loomed as dark as midnight. It was Messenger Duck. As quick as a flash, Small Duck zoomed over towards Messenger Duck, eager to hear what he had to say. Now we're moving on to the middle of our story, written by Mrs. Cobbold. Messenger Duck was different to the other ducks. He was larger. He was taller. He was mysterious. He wore a velvet cloak. Within his beak, he held a rather scruffy looking scroll. He dropped it onto a nearby rock and coughed loudly. Small Duck, he announced, I have a mission for you. Messenger Duck explained that a golden egg had been stolen many years before. It was a very important egg belonging to King Duck. During recent excavations at the palace, the scroll had been unearthed. This scroll, it turned out, had a map within it. This map showed the way to the golden egg's hiding place. Do you accept this mission? Asked Messenger Duck. Before Small Duck could answer, he had disappeared into thin air. Small Duck didn't hesitate. He grabbed Big Duck by the feathers and off they went. Even Big Duck was excited. Their journey was challenging. over hills and through caves, but they bravely continued. Eventually, they reached what looked like the place where the golden egg was hidden. So here's the ending, and I want to see if you could look out for some creative punctuation, some danger, and if the quest has been completed. Stood before them was a gigantic, rickety old tower. Big Duck and Small Duck gazed upwards. It was so tall that the top of the tower was hidden by heavy, ominous storm clouds. After a few seconds, the storm clouds parted, and Big Duck and Small Duck were soaked in a golden, brilliant light shining from what looked like a very large egg. There it is, shouted Little Duck. Come on, Big Duck, let's go. Little Duck and Big Duck were able to carefully lift the golden egg from the cushion it was resting on and delicately lowered it down. As soon as their webbed feet touched the ground, the storm clouds grew heavier and angrier. They rumbled and growled and started to explode with lightning bolts. With the egg under Little Duck's wing, they ran towards what looked like a very steep waterfall. Luckily, there was a damaged raft nearby. They hopped onto the raft, crossed their feathers, and paddled along the fast-flowing river towards the top of the waterfall. They landed with a splash and floated lazily towards the king's palace and out of reach of the angry storm clouds. King Duck greeted the two ducks, accepted the golden egg, and rewarded their bravery by making them knights of the duck realm. The end. So I hope you enjoyed this story, and I also hope that you've noticed that I've written about what's going to happen next. I've written about how they might escape or get out of danger, and whether they run into more danger or any more problems. So when you're writing your ending, you need to make sure that you've written about the mission, whether it's been completed or not, or if the problem's been solved, or if the quest has been successfully completed. If you or your characters escaped danger, if you ran into any more danger, and you need to think about what kind of ending you've used. Do you have a happy ending or do you use a cliffhanger? So hopefully that was helpful. I hope you've enjoyed the story. We are really looking forward to seeing your stories and your endings. So good luck and keep working hard, and we'll see you very soon.